perception है कि as we grow, we become insecure about our wealth. That insecurity can lead to wasting your wealth, throwing away your wealth, many things. I admit, my perception about managing wealth is very poor. I'm glad I met Ajay, Ritvik, and Kapil, and they are now guiding me. And therefore, I thought it's important to share this concept of wealth wellness. So therefore, it's a pleasure to have with us a young, dynamic Mr. Ajay Kumar Yadav. He's CEO and CIO of Wise Finance Serve Private Limited. He's a certified financial planner. He's an MBA from Madras University, and very interesting, I found in behavioral sciences also, because पैसे को इस्तेमाल करना और उड़ाना दोनों behavior पे depend करता है. And with him is his friend, Mr. Ritvik Singh Rautela, who's the head of products and research at the Wise Finance Serve. He's a chartered wealth manager and a chartered financial analyst. So it's a pleasure to have such dynamic youngsters from the financial industry, and it is going to be an experience, Ajay and Ritvik both, it is going to be an experience for my elder colleagues to listen to such a dialogue. So pardon them if they ask some silly questions, कि आप मेरे पैसे कल को double करा दोगे? Or you might hear some apprehensive questions. So let's have a little dialogue on financial wealth in the elders and how you can empower them to be looking after their wealth, making it grow, and spending it on themselves. Welcome, Ajay and Ritvik.
It's a very interesting topic which has been picked up by Dr. Gariwal. So it talks about the financial wellness. So the state of financial peace and its stability. So when you look at the core competence of financial wellness, it's all about, having a well-planned monthly budget and sticking to it. So something very simple, but only thing is that sometimes we struggle to manage the simple things. The second is being debt-free or having a manageable debt level. So there are people who know how to leverage the debt. So there will be a time and an opportunity in the capital market where people love to leverage their debt. Let's say, for example, markets are favored by more than 50%, where in case if you can borrow money at 10% and or wealth management
can I just request, there may be certain technical terms जो कि थोड़ा अगर हिंदी में explain कर दें, it will be useful for them. Sorry to interrupt you.
Fine, sure, sir. I'll take care of that, sir. And second is, managing debt free or having a manageable debt level. So what we feel that once you turn 60, when you stop working, it is very important that either you should not have any debt. And in case if you are having debt, you know that how to leverage a debt. So when I use the term leveraging a debt means अगर आपने 10% पे पैसा उठाया है तो उससे आपको फायदा है नुकसान है. देयर आर टाइम्स की कैपिटल मार्केट्स या इक्विटी इंडेक्स 50% गिर जाते हैं एंड यू डोंट हैव मनी टू टॉप अप in the portfolio. तो sometime आप लोन अगेंस्ट सिक्योरिटी ले सकते हैं and probably you leverage that. So leverage in the sense कि there are very interesting instruments which are available in the market जहां निफ्टी अगर 10% बढ़ता है तो आपका प्रोडक्ट 15% बढ़ेगा. सो हम ये देखते हैं कि कितनी प्रोबेबिलिटी है कि आपके पोर्टफोलियो को अगर लेवरेज कर रहे हो तो कितना बेहतर रिटर्न बना पाता है. बट दिस इज लिटिल साइंटिफिक and especially we try avoiding such strategies in the retirees portfolio. We are one such organization who are very well known in Maharatnas because we are exclusive financial literacy partner with the Maharatnas of India like NTPC, ONGC, GAIL, SAIL, where they invite us on a different platform to talk about how to manage money post retirement. So today in fact Ritvik is also going to cover कि ये cyber fraud क्या होता है because cyber fraud के through I think retirees are losing 2 crore, 2.5 crore. Every month we get one information कि आज इस रिटायरी ने इतना पोर्टफोलियो का मतलब पैसा उनका निकाल लिया गया है. So I have written a big article also, which was captured by the Money Control. वो भी मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा ऋत्विक को, इन केस हम फ्यूचर में शेयर कर पाए इस ग्रुप को. All right, so let's sticking to the financial wellness. So building and maintaining an emergency fund, which is something very common, right? So ये emergency fund होता क्या है? ऋत्विक will brief in detail कि ये लिंक डिपॉजिट्स भी हो सकते हैं, बट ये लिक्विड फंड्स भी हो सकते हैं. तो किसको कैसे किया जाए? लिंक डिपॉजिट रखा जाए इमरजेंसी फंड को लिक्विड, बिकॉज लिक्विड से पैसा निकालने के लिए एक दिन लगता है, बट लिंक डिपॉजिट रहता है तो थोड़ा पैसा लिंक डिपॉजिट में रह सकता है. सो सेटिंग एंड प्रोग्रेसिंग टुवर्ड्स शॉर्ट टर्म एंड लॉन्ग टर्म फाइनेंशियल गोल्स. नाउ once you know about your risk profile, once you know about the various short term, medium term, long term financial goals, you very well can diversify your investments accordingly and start managing it. Now, when you diversify your investment into various categories of investments to meet your all those financial, it is very important to strike the tax efficiency also. ऐसा नहीं है कि हम रिटायरमेंट के बाद कोशिश करते हैं कि मैं टैक्स एफिशिएंसी पोर्टफोलियो में रहना चाहिए. नो, विथ न्यू टैक्स रिजीम आई थिंक 12 लाख रुपए तक पे मैं कोई टैक्स पे करना नहीं है. तो आपको स्ट्रैटेजी और कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ फाइनेंशियल प्रोडक्ट्स ऐसे बनाने हैं ताकि बेटर टैक्स एफिशिएंसी हो जाए. एंड ऑल्सो वी कीप एम्फेसाइजिंग अ लॉट, वंस यू आर रिटायर्ड इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट दैट कि आपका पोर्टफोलियो 85% लिक्विड रहे. सो व्हाट डज इट मीन? आपको अगर 100 रुपए का पोर्टफोलियो है, बटन दबाते ही 85% आपके अकाउंट में आ जाना चाहिए. इतनी लिक्विडिटी हमेशा मेंटेन करिए. ये बहुत ही अहम है एंड बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट है. इससे आपको बहुत फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी, फ्रीडम, यू विल फील, यू विल हैव बेटर एजिलिटी, बेटर फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी, good confidence level. Your money is not stuck in any real estate or physical asset classes. So I think once you diversify your investments, when you look at your time horizon and goals, tax efficiency, you feel quite confident. This is all about this is all about financial element. But अब ऋत्विक को मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा, इन केस if he takes the session forward, और क्वेश्चन आंसर्स बहुत होने चाहिए. So we will try cover the presentation fast, and we'll try engaging you all the question answer sessions, ताकि आप लोगों को मालूम चल पाए कि एक पोर्टफोलियो, बिकॉज ये बहुत बड़ा साइंस है पोर्टफोलियो मैनेज करना. हम ये 25-35 मिनट्स में कवर नहीं कर पाएंगे, बट ऑलवेज वी कैन हेल्प यू, इज स्ट्रेंथनिंग यू विद सम काइंड ऑफ ए नॉलेज कि अपने डिसीजंस आप ले पाए, राइट? So I request Ritvik if he can take the session forward. I'll be part of the presentation, and फिर question answers भी लेंगे हम.
Thank you. So good afternoon, everyone. So to take the session forward, I'll percent आना चाहिए कि I'm able to beat the inflation post tax. That is good.
Yeah.
So generally क्या होता है, रिटर्न जैसे जैसे बढ़ते हैं, हमारा जो स्माइल का फिगर होता है वो बढ़ता जाता है. So when the returns are in tune of 8%, the smile is small. जब 2.5% रिटर्न होता है तो सेविंग्स अकाउंट लाइक हम खुश रहते हैं. ऐसा नहीं है जब सेविंग्स अकाउंट में बैलेंस ज्यादा होता है हम दुखी नहीं होते, हम खुश रहते हैं. आई एम नॉट वेरी हैप्पी, बट एज सून एज द रिटर्न क्रॉसेस 12%, द स्माइल बिकम्स बिगर, एंड दैट इज द गोल. बट हैविंग सेड दैट, जैसा सर ने कहा, 1 से 100 नहीं बनाना है, बट अगर मुझे 12% रिस्क एडजस्टेड रिटर्न मिल रहा है विद इन माई रिस्क appetite, without taking much of the risk, without putting my principal at risk, I think that is a stable return that one should feel happy pre-tax. And post-tax, like sir said, 10% is quite good enough. So can anyone here in the group, yes, someone is investing into mutual fund, he can get decent, better risk-adjusted returns.
Ingredients,
So when you are making, yes sir.
ingredients से क्या मतलब?
Safety.
जैसे अगर यू आर मेकिंग अ गुड बिरयानी, तो उसमें आप क्या डालेंगे कि यू विल गेट अ गुड बिरयानी. सिमिलरली, इफ यू वांट टू क्रिएट अ वेरी गुड पोर्टफोलियो that delivers you a good risk adjusted return, which is also beating inflation, what are the key things you should keep in mind?
How about shareholding?
Yeah, shareholding, I'll say more like
Risk
asset allocation, sir. कि मेरा पैसा कहाँ कहाँ divided है, how much it is diversified. So let's look at the two main ingredients. One is the time horizon.
That's
I should always know how long I am investing this money for. So, for example, there would be some money that you are investing for long term, let's say 3 to 5 years. You should stick to that 3 to 5 years and then choose the right investment. If the time horizon is less, so there are people who think that, "Nahi, this money I need in the next 1 year," and they'll put it in the share market. So there are highly likely chances when you're putting that money in capital market कि आपका loss हो. So time horizon here plays a very key important role, that one should always assess their time horizon. And next comes the asset allocation. How much money of my total portfolio मैं उसको कहाँ कहाँ डाल रहा हूँ? How much money according to my risk profile is in debt? कितना इक्विटीज में है, कितना बॉन्ड्स में है, कितना मैंने रियल एस्टेट में इन्वेस्टमेंट्स करा है, एंड हाउ मच आई हैव पुट इन कमोडिटीज लाइक गोल्ड एंड सिल्वर. So that only these two things will be the main determinant of the returns you generate in the portfolio. What happens sometime if I don't have a time horizon? I've invested the money for 3 to 5 years, but suddenly I change my time horizon. नहीं, मैंने एक साल में मेरे को रिटर्न्स नहीं दिखते. बट यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड, आपने वो पैसा 3 साल के लिए लगाया था. So short-term volatility can be taken care of when your investment horizon is long-term. So your risk profile, your asset allocation, and time horizon always play an important role. So let's look at this matrix. Uh, to generate a 12% return in 1 month, the probability to achieve this is very least. It can be done. It's no one is denying. Chinese markets in a single day have given 12% return. Various equity markets during COVID gave 12% return in a month. So the probability though is least, but the probability to experience negative returns is very highly likely. So जब आप equity markets में हम घुसते हैं, तो हम 1 मंथ, 2 मंथ, 1 साल, 2 साल के returns को देख के अपने equity investments को judge करते हैं. But if you look at, as the time period increases, after 36 months, the probability to generate 12% return is almost certain, because the market cycle keeps on going, and I've seen the long-term market cycle, and the probability to generate negative returns goes to least. So the longer the time horizon, the more I can factor in the volatility and generate return. Then there are other key factors also. Let's understand them quickly. Asset allocation we discussed. Second is the market condition. मैं किस condition में पैसा लगा रहा हूँ? Is it a bull market? Is it a bear market? Are the prices rising and there is a general optimism? जो डेटा आ रहा है, आरबीआई का डेटा जो आ रहा है, मार्केट्स का जो डेटा आ रहा है, बजट अच्छा है कि नहीं है, और there is a bear market. If the prices are falling, the economic condition is not good, what market condition am I investing into is very important. Third is the diversification. Like, it is said that don't put all your eggs in one basket. One of you very rightly said, where is my portfolio diversified? Is there a capital risk? If there is a capital risk, how am I minimizing it? That is important. Next is the investment strategy. मैं कैसे investments कर रहा हूँ? Am I going it in a growth investment? Or I'm choosing value style of investing? मैं सिर्फ index funds में invest करके छोड़ दे रहा हूँ. That strategy also plays important role. Time horizon we have discussed. Then comes very important cost and fees, which is the most neglected part. This is my money जो मैं invest कर रहा हूँ, and I often never ask the financial advisor or the banker कि भाई what is the fees that I'm paying in this specific product. That we often do not ask. Or what is the cost of putting this investment. I'm doing a real estate investment, but what is the cost of maintaining that real estate property or that project where I'm getting that rental yield? What is the commission or what is the fee that the banker or the advisor is making? Because often we see senior citizens getting uh, trapped into various annuity products. एफडी बोल के एनुटी प्रोडक्ट्स दे देते हैं कि 7% आपको आता रहेगा, 6% आपको आता रहेगा. दे टेक अ लार्ज सम ऑफ मनी एंड देन वन कैन नॉट एग्जिट इट इन टर्म्स ऑफ कि कभी कोई इमरजेंसी और कोई एक्सीजेंसी है. दिस हैपेंस विद आवर क्लाइंट्स. सो व्हाट इज द कॉस्ट इन्वॉल्व? बिकॉज इट इज अ हाई कॉस्ट प्रोडक्ट, तो बैंकर्स बहुत जल्दी बताते हैं, इन्वेस्टमेंट एडवाइजर्स बहुत जल्दी बताते हैं, बट दे डोंट टेल what is a good product where the cost is low, I get the maximum returns. So generally, we all invest across these 4 asset classes. The first one being equity. When I put my money directly by buying shares or indirectly by investing in an equity mutual fund or a equity PMS, then I'm taking participation in equity, where I get the profits out of those share prices and the dividend. The general return across 3 years time horizon is between 12 to 15%. One can generate better than that, but अगर मतलब कोई भी इंडेक्स भी आप उठा लें तो 12 से 15% आप आराम से बना लेते हैं. नेक्स्ट कम्स वन ऑफ द मोस्ट अंडररेटेड येट मोस्ट लव्ड सबसे अंडर स्टडीड एसेट क्लास है, लेकिन सबसे ज्यादा हम इससे प्यार करते हैं. दैट इज द डेट और द फिक्स्ड इनकम. वी लव टू हैव आवर पीपीएफ. वी लव टू पुट मनी इनटू पोस्ट ऑफिस एमआईएस. वी लव टू पुट मनी इनटू बैंक लिंक डिपॉजिट्स. बट उसको हम सबसे कम स्टडी करते हैं. डेट इज वन ऑफ द मोस्ट वास्ट एसेट क्लास वेयर वी हैव नीश प्रोडक्ट्स लाइक स्टेट गवर्नमेंट गारंटीड बॉन्ड्स, जहां मुझे अपने नॉर्मल एफडी से अच्छा रिटर्न मिल रहा है, ऑलमोस्ट 9%, which is backed up by the government and secured with the assets of the company. But because of the lack of awareness, I am not invested in such products where I'm able to beat inflation, get a better returns. So fixed income, generally my return ranges from 7 to 9%. Uh, so this is where we have to look at, and especially in the
Also,
retirees
Ritik,
portfolio.
if you can
Yes, sir.
quickly cover about the listed bond, we make 9.5% post taxes. So most of the people don't talk about the listed bonds. Again, the commercials are very thin over here. The brokers and the advisor don't make a lot of money, so they don't recommend such products. So listed bond, listed secured bond, because when we recommend for any financial products,
For
especially
example, a listed bond का कोई example.
so, for example, now Nuama, Edelweiss have a secured listed bond. So the taxation is 12.5%, and post-tax yield is near about close to 9.5%. So, and moreover, this is a senior debt. Let's say, for example, in the future, if anything goes wrong with the company and post monetization, whatever recovery is with the very first right, वो senior secure debt का होता है. तो हमें whenever any particular debt asset class becomes a part of a retiree's portfolio, it is very important to understand what is the risk associated and how secured is that bond. But Ritvik is very right कि India में people are generally limiting down themselves to few products only when it comes to fixed income. But the universe is pretty large. So हम listed bond नहीं देखते, हम PSU के secured bond नहीं देखते. We don't look at the debt PMS. So debt PMS में conservative debt PMS, the expense is already 0.5%, and you end up making 9.5 to 10%. So, but only thing is that the commercials are pretty thin. Nobody wants to recommend these asset classes. But what I sometimes feel that कि अगर ये सारे प्रोडक्ट्स अवेलेबल हैं जहां पे अगर हम 200 बेसिस पॉइंट दैट इज 2% भी एडिशनल रिटर्न बना पाते हैं, बिकॉज इन्वेस्टर्स आर नॉट अवेयर ऑफ दीज प्रोडक्ट्स. तो अगर किसी का 3-4 करोड़ का भी पोर्टफोलियो है, द अल्फा इंक्रीजेस बाय 6 to 8 lakhs, which can fund your one international domestic one international oblique domestic journeys. Domestic journey तो आपके domestic holiday के दो आपके फंड हो सकते हैं. So we need to figure out which are these different asset classes. Hence, it's very good to know about these asset classes. Fine, Ritvik, continue.
Right, sir. So next is cash and equivalent, where I put my money into a savings account or a liquid fund or in a liquid FD. So generally, आजकल we are very fond of liquid FDs, जहाँ पे वी आर वेरी कंफर्टेबल कि नहीं 7% का मुझे रिटर्न देता है पूरा एफडी, एंड जब चाहे मैं उससे विड्रॉ कर सकता हूँ. दैट इज वन मिथ दैट आई वुड लाइक टू ब्रेक इन दिस सेशन, कि इफ यू हैव अ लिक्विड एफडी और एन एमओडी व्हिच एसबीआई सेज, if you withdraw it before 1 year, you don't get that 7%. You get whatever the interest आपका जो उस पीरियड के लिए इंटरेस्ट है आपको वो मिलता है, प्लस जो भी डिडक्शन और एग्जिट लोड एसबीआई चार्ज करता है. So there is alternates to that. There is liquid fund where you can put your money. You get the complete return across the time horizon whenever you're invested. You can withdraw it anytime in a click of a button. The next day, money comes into your account. So the fourth asset class is alternative, where I invest into various startups, various alternative investment funds and long short strategies, which are highly risky. And because they are risky, they generate high returns. But we generally prefer कि retirees के portfolio में इसको ये नहीं डालते unless and the portfolio is quite large enough where we can diversify and generate better returns. So if you look at the returns for Sensex for the last 46 years, there have been 10 years of negative return. That is why starting में मैंने बात किया था, time horizon is always important. Because अगर मेरा time horizon छोटा है, for example in 1997 if I would have invested, next year अगर मैं expect कर रहा था कि I would get bumper returns, I would have made a loss. But on a longer duration, अगर आप देखें, in the Sensex from 1979 to 2024 has given a CAGR of 15.83%. So that means if I want returns in the long term and I don't want to do any engineering, in my portfolio, all I have to do is buy the index and just sit tight. And my returns will keep on generating and the portfolio will keep on compounding. वो अपने आप compound होता रहेगा, कुछ changes मुझे नहीं करने. That is when I am not taking much stress in my portfolio. If on that also I am able to generate 2 to 3% additional with the help of a wealth manager, I think my portfolio will do pretty good.
सर लॉन्ग टर्म कितना लॉन्ग टर्म?
Long term से generally above 3 years.
बट 3 इयर्स में तो मार्केट हिलता भी नहीं है, कुछ नहीं होता.
So 3
आप
years
3
में
साल पहले इन्वेस्ट किया था तो आज कुछ भी नहीं, इट हैज गॉन डाउन.
we'll evaluate, sir, because there are
Yes,
multiple
sir.
sectors that are running across various market cycles. So it has to be a wealth manager who decides कि portfolio कहाँ जाना है. If you would have invested in a mid or a small cap, yes, आपको decline दिखा होगा. But अगर उस time पे large cap में किसी ने invest किया होता, which was relatively undervalued, they might have seen some significant returns. So that is variable, sir. और वो ही assess करने के लिए
वही
the
है
wealth
sir.
managers are there for you.
मैं यहाँ पे एक पॉइंट ऐड करता हूँ सर. Generally, most of the people they consider 3 to 5 years as a medium long term and a long term 5 years and above. But you are very right. When you decide to make an investment in equity, it is very important that bare minimum 3 years you should have. Otherwise, you shouldn't be investing in equity. मालूम चला कि since before getting into an equity market, when the equity market was the best in the shape, बुल रन चल रहा था, हमने दूसरों के देखा देखे में इन्वेस्टमेंट डाल दिया विद टाइम होराइजन ऑफ 3 years. तो रिक्विट ने जब जो थर्ड स्लाइड प्रेजेंट किया था कि मार्केट बुल रन फेस में है कि बेयर फेस में है. सो बुल रन फेस में इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू इवैल्यूएट कि वैल्यूएशंस क्या है. सो वी हैव टू लुक एट the 13 sectors and the various index levels across the different indices. सो उसके पैरामीटर्स और बेसिस पे अगर वैल्यूएशन ज्यादा है तो मैंने कितना पैसा इक्विटी में लेके गया, कितना मैंने लिक्विड में रखा. अगर मैंने ये स्ट्रैटेजी रन नहीं किया और मैंने पैसा लमसम डाल दिया और पीक ऑफ वैल्यूएशंस पे, obviously sir, when the markets will decline, my portfolio will be hammered down nicely. It is very important to evaluate what phase of the market we are in while making an investment in equity, sir. So obviously yes, but we keep recommending 3 साल से कम है तो प्लीज इक्विटी में पैसा मत लगाइए, और शेयर ट्रेडिंग पे तो हम बिल्कुल मना करते हैं. या ऋत्विक.
Yeah, Ritik.
Yes, sir. Coming to this very important slide, that is inflation. So मैं कुछ भी अपने returns बनाऊं portfolio में, I should always make sure that I am able to beat the inflation. और because if you see last 34 years में हथौड़ा मार मार के 100 rupees की purchasing value has come down to rupees 7.64. So if I am planning for a long-term goal, let's say 2 years, 3 years, 5 years from now, I should always factor in how much inflation दैट गोल इज गोइंग टू बी. अगर वो आज 1 लाख रुपए का मुझे कोई चीज लेनी है जो मैं 3 से 4 साल में प्लान कर रहा हूँ, सो उसमें मुझे इन्फ्लेशन हमेशा फैक्टर इन करके चलना चाहिए. एंड वेन एवर आई एम मेकिंग एनी इन्वेस्टमेंट, आई शुड आस्क माई वेल्थ मैनेजर हाउ मच additional return it is making over the inflation. Because if your investment is not able to beat inflation, it is almost as taking a loss. So how to navigate your portfolio? That is, you have to look across various market caps, not the entire portfolio, but yes, like we were discussing, Nifty 50, which represent the top 50 companies of India, Nifty 100, which represent the top 100, and similarly, you have to see कहाँ पे PE ratio ज़्यादा है, कहाँ पे कम है. अभी large caps are relatively undervalued in comparison to the small cap and mid cap, जो कि बहुत अच्छा returns बनाए, no doubt. But
What,
now
what is PE ratio?
PE is the price earning ratio, sir.
Price
How
ratio.
much money is the market willing to pay for 1 rupee of earning? So अगर कंपनी 1 रुपया कमा रही है, मार्केट उसके लिए कितना देने को रेडी है? So if you look at for small cap and mid cap, market is willing to give 34 rupees. So automatically पता चल जाना चाहिए मुझे कि this is highly overvalued, and I should exit my mid caps and small caps or slowly transfer it to large caps where I see valuations are relatively better. सो मार्केट कैप्स के बीच में मुझे अपने पोर्टफोलियो में इवेलुएट करते रहना चाहिए, नॉट ऑन अ रेगुलर बेसिस कि हम रोज टर्निंग कर रहे हैं, बट यस आई शुड ऑलवेज इवेलुएट. नेक्स्ट, सिलेक्शन इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. This is how you differentiate returns in your portfolio. Where as on 31st March, there are almost 1,760 mutual fund schemes, almost 460 PMS strategies managing approximately 7.4 lakhs, and various other AIF strategies which are managing almost another 30 lakh crores. Now, which one is good for me? That is the actual question. या मेरा wealth manager जो है वो मेरे लिए best out of all of this universe, if he selects, then I can generate additional returns in the portfolio. So that is the alpha with respect to benchmark. That is what we analyze at Wise FinServ. कि benchmark यानी कि अगर BSE 100 टॉप 100 कंपनीज लास्ट 10 साल में 12% दे रही है, मेरा पैसा या मेरा फंड वो होना चाहिए जो उस पे मुझे एडिशनल रिटर्न्स दे रहा हो, या एडिशनल रिटर्न्स को हम फाइनेंशियल टर्म्स में कहते हैं अल्फा। मुझे एक अल्फा दे बेंचमार्क पे, क्योंकि बेंचमार्क पे तो मैं आंखें बंद करके खुद भी इन्वेस्ट कर सकता था। तो अगर कोई मेरा वेल्थ मैनेजर है जिसको मैं पे कर रहा हूँ मेरा पोर्टफोलियो मैनेज करने के लिए, ही शुड बी एबल टू जनरेट अल्फा इन माय पोर्टफोलियो फ्रॉम द बेंचमार्क. So then again, there is another asset class called equity PMS, where if you have shares with you, you can transfer your shares also to the equity PMS, where the fund manager will buy some good stocks for you and he will be able to generate additional returns. The ownership remains with the client. The risk management is pretty good, where the fund manager and this team of analysts take care of your securities. But again, this is a high risky asset class where the minimum ticket size is 50 lakhs, but yes, they are able to generate higher return. For retirees, debt PMS, a wonderful product. आपके लिए फंड मैनेजर 10 से 12 अच्छे बॉन्ड्स बाय करेगा, जहां से आपको एक रेगुलर इनकम आती रहेगी। 10 से 12 बॉन्ड्स में क्योंकि डाइवर्सिफाई किया है, वर्स्ट टू वर्स्ट केस में, इन केस देयर इज अ चैलेंज विद अ सिंगल कंपनी,
आवाज कट
माय
रही है।
एंटायर
Carry on, please.
Okay. In
Clear me.
case, even if there is a problem with a single security, my entire portfolio, my entire income source does not get hampered. मेरे को income आती रहती है। तो एक diversified income source is a debt PMS, where I can even customize how my portfolio is going to be. I can choose a conservative portfolio where I can get a 9.35% at a very less expense of 0.5 paisa, 0.5%, where most of the portfolio will be invested into AAA and AA securities. Or I can go aggressive where I can get higher returns, almost 11 to 12%, where maximum of the portfolio is included into A and A minus category. So hence, I can customize, I can take more risk, I can minimize my risk, and even have an income, regular income generation from the portfolio. So this is a good product. Then AIF category हमने discuss किया, where you invest into venture capital. These are highly risky assets. यहाँ पे हमें तभी invest करना चाहिए when our portfolio size is almost 5 CR and above, so that there is a enough space to take that risk. So now coming the time, according to my time horizon, according to the return profile, and according to the risk appetite that I have, there are products available for me. अगर मेरे को short time horizon के लिए पैसे को रखना है, there are good debt and fixed income funds where can keep, where the risk is not pretty high and the return is also optimum. Whereas if I have a longer time horizon, that is more than 3 to 5 years, I can put the money into equity mutual fund. And if I want to take a concentrated risk, I can go for equity PMS. If the time horizon is more than 5 years, please then only go for an AIF strategy, that is the alternative investment fund. Now, let's see how proper selection will actually create a difference in your portfolio, or how you selecting or your wealth manager selecting the right fund will create a difference. फॉर एग्जाम्पल हमने यहाँ पे 1 करोड़ रुपया लिया था, इसको हमने बैक टेस्ट किया, विच वॉज इन्वेस्टेड इन 2015. So in the last 10 years, if you look at the returns, just by the lieu of selection, all of these are flexi cap funds. चारों के चारों फ्लेक्सी कैप फंड्स है, लेकिन आप रिटर्न का डिफरेंस देखिए। जहां क्वांट फ्लेक्सी कैप ने 5.5 करोड़ बना दिया मेरे इन्वेस्टेड अमाउंट को, whereas UTI would have given me 3.19, almost a difference of 2.5 CR. So that is why the right selection also is very important. And if you look in the CAGR terms, almost a difference of, let's say, 5%, and in terms of next best से भी almost 5% का difference है. तो 5% अभी तो ज्यादा नहीं लगता, लेकिन ओवर अ लॉन्गर टेन्योर इट एक्चुअली क्रिएट्स अ डिफरेंस इन योर पोर्टफोलियो ग्रोथ. So hence you can look at the performance comparison. Now last 5 years में people often ask कि ऋत्विक मुझे कब PMS लेना चाहिए, कब मुझे म्यूचुअल फंड लेना चाहिए. So if you have a long time horizon, because PMS is a risky asset class, it's a not risky, it's a concentrated portfolio. So you look कि mutual funds have also delivered excellent returns, but PMS across time we have also generated better alpha than Sensex. So if I want a concentrated higher risk approach, I can go with PMS. Else, I can play with mutual funds and generate better risk adjusted returns. So, how does we as a wealth manager, deliver better risk adjusted returns? So, we look at the entire universe of various niche asset classes like zero coupon bonds, mutual funds, AIF, equity PMS, debt PMS, and look at which is the best one for you. We choose the right asset class for you. हर मार्केट साइकिल पे एक अलग एसेट क्लास अच्छा कर रहा होगा. For the last one calendar year, gold has delivered pretty well. Then small caps would have delivered sometime good. If you look at 2023, 2020, 2018 में gold did well. So across market cap मुझे थोड़ा थोड़ा portfolio कहाँ rebalance करना है. That is how wealth manager is able to generate better returns for you. Selecting the right market cap. किस मार्केट कैप में मेरे को स्मॉल कैप ज्यादा रखना है आपके पोर्टफोलियो में, मिड कैप ज्यादा रखना है. व्हाट इज द मार्केट सेइंग, व्हाट इज द डेटा सेइंग, what is the PE ratio, what is the earnings growth in the portfolio, what is the expected earnings. That creates a lot of difference in generating returns. And next is the selecting the right sector. Not all sectors market might do good or bad, and sectors might not be totally correlated. मार्केट बहुत अच्छा कर रहा है लेकिन जरूरी नहीं आईटी भी अच्छा ही कर रहा हो. आईटी could be going down, and if my more exposure is towards IT, my portfolio will also go down. So selecting the right sector is also very important, and that is what a wealth manager is able to do. Then often we have a lot of biases towards specific stocks. This is what comes into behavioral finance when we talk about कि often हम एक स्टॉक को लेके बैठ जाते हैं कि नहीं ये स्टॉक तो बहुत ही अच्छा है, ये कभी मेरे को लॉसेस नहीं देता था आज तक. लेकिन जरूरी नहीं है वो हमेशा लॉसेस नहीं देगा. देयर विल बी चांसेस बिकॉज इट्स मार्केट. मुझे कब सेल करना है, दैट इज ऑल्सो वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. एट व्हाट पॉइंट आई शुड सेल अ स्टॉक और अ investment asset class is very important. So if you look at major behemoths like Asian Paints, HDFC, for the last if 1 year YTD, they have not been able to deliver very high returns in comparison to other asset classes. They have been a consistent compounder, but जरूरी नहीं कि वो हमेशा रहे. So I have to always evaluate this, and often these biases that the investor might have, the wealth manager is able to help you in removing those biases or advising you against those biases. So there are almost many parameters which you should consider before selecting a mutual fund, but these are key ratios that you should always look at. I'll select a few. One is the beta. Beta means how volatile it is. If I am a conservative investor and मुझे portfolio में fluctuations बहुत अच्छे नहीं लगते, so I'll take a low beta fund. But also, if I want to generate returns, so when the market is in a bull run, we take a high beta. When the market is bearish, I try to skew my portfolio towards low beta. Portfolio turnover कैसा है, फंड मैनेजर कितना एक्टिवली फंड को चर्न कर रहा है. शार्पे रेशियो, ₹1 का रिस्क लेके फंड मैनेजर कितना रिटर्न दे रहा है, दैट इज इंपॉर्टेंट. सॉर्टिनो रेशियो, जहां पे नेगेटिव रिटर्न्स को लेके हटा के कितना मेरे को रिटर्न दे रहा है. स्टैंडर्ड डिविएशन इज जनरल स्टैटिस्टिक्स, कितना पोर्टफोलियो वॉलेटाइल है. All these indicators are taken care by the wealth manager, and then a mutual fund becomes a part of your portfolio. Generally हम क्या करते हैं, हम फ्रेंड से एडवाइस देते हैं कि अच्छा मेरे फ्रेंड ने HDFC बैलेंस एडवांटेज फंड में अच्छा रिटर्न बनाया तो मैं भी HDFC बैलेंस एडवांटेज फंड में पैसा डाल देता हूँ. That is now how fund is selected. Your risk profile might be different, your time horizon might be different from your respective friends.
And one more
Coming
thing,
to risk
I'll take 30 seconds to add over here. So
Yes,
most
sir.
of the time, when we, as a wealth manager, when we evaluate all these risk parameters for any client's portfolio, so there are times when client question, अजय सबसे poor performing fund ही मेरे portfolio में भी क्यों ऐड किया जा रहा है? Because हम जानते हैं वो जो poor performing fund पिछले 5 साल से रहा है, the time has come where the performing funds may take a dip, but the non-performing fund may rise. तो देर आर क्लाइंट्स दे वो पास्ट परफॉर्मेंस का रिटर्न देख लेते हैं और वो ऐड कर देते हैं. नो, वी डोंट लुक एट ओनली द पास्ट परफॉर्मेंस, ऑब्वियसली वी आल्सो लुक एट, बट वी गिव अ लीस्ट वेटेज टू द पास्ट परफॉर्मेंस. Imagine, this is real shocking for many clients. I give a least weightage to the past performance. I give a high weightage to the various risk parameters which I'm considering for the every mutual fund which is becoming a part of my client's portfolio. तो हो सकता है कि बैंकिंग ने परफॉर्म नहीं किया, मैंने बैंकिंग लेके जा रहा हूँ. हो सकता है मेटल्स ने परफॉर्म नहीं किया, अब मैं मेटल्स लेके जा रहा हूँ. द क्लाइंट मेक क्वेश्चन कि अजय पूरा पोर्टफोलियो तो मेरा उससे बना दिया है जो पिछले 3 साल चले ही नहीं है. बट दैट्स द राइट स्ट्रैटेजी. Hence, we have our own proprietary model, that is SRT. So we try generating alpha through three different strategies. We call it as strategy allocation alpha. We try generating additional returns by creating a strategic allocation for
सर
you.
सुनाई नहीं दे रहा.
Okay.
नहीं मैम अच्छी तरह सुनाई दे रहा है, डोंट वरी, आप चेक करिए.
So S, I covered S. So we have our own proprietary risk model, that is S. Strategic allocation से कैसे अल्फा जनरेट कर सकते हैं, एडिशनल रिटर्न्स. R मींस कितना रिस्क लें और कितना रिस्क न लें. रिस्क लेने के लिए ये सारे रिस्क इश्यू स्टडी किया, एट अकॉर्डिंगली आपका पोर्टफोलियो एलोकेट किया, एंड वी ट्राई जनरेटिंग अल्फा. टैक्सेशन, मोस्ट ऑफ द पीपल इग्नोर टैक्सेशन. हम राइट टैक्सेशन स्ट्रैटेजी अडॉप्ट करके भी आपको एडिशनल रिटर्न्स जनरेट करते हैं. मोस्ट ऑफ द पीपल डोंट प्रैक्टिस अबाउट टैक्स लॉस हार्वेस्टिंग. वी प्रैक्टिस टैक्स लॉस हार्वेस्टिंग ऑल्सो. सो ये बहुत जरूरी है कि आपका पोर्टफोलियो जब बन रहा है तो मार्केट सिनेरियो क्या है, रिस्क को कैसे एनालाइज किया है और टैक्सेशन क्या है. या ऋत्विक कंटिन्यू.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So these are the various risks that the research team looks at before anything becomes any asset class becomes a part of the portfolio. And obviously, as an individual investor, I cannot study all of this. And that is where a wealth manager plays very important role in creating a portfolio for you. Let's look at what factors you should consider. This we have discussed. लेकिन रीबैलेंसिंग कब करना चाहिए मुझे पोर्टफोलियो, कब पोर्टफोलियो को चेंज करना चाहिए? जब मेरे को अपॉर्चुनिटी दिखे लार्ज मिड और स्मॉल कैप में, यू हैव टू चेक if there are other opportunities where the markets are at a peak and they are expected to correct and debt में मुझे कुछ अपॉर्चुनिटी मिले, सेक्टर में क्या अपॉर्चुनिटीज हैं, एंड मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट विच पीपल ऑफन इग्नोर इज द ग्लोबल अपॉर्चुनिटीज. क्या मेरे पोर्टफोलियो में 5 से 10% एक्सपोजर मैं यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स का रख सकता हूँ, ताकि जब पूरा वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमी जाता है तो सबसे पहले यूएस रिकवर करता है. दैट इज व्हाट जनरली वी हैव सीन. सो क्या इंटरनेशनल फंड्स मेरे पोर्टफोलियो में होने चाहिए? How much they should be? So such rebalancing you should consider while making sure. So how asset allocation actually creates a difference? So यहाँ पे हमने एक asset लिया है 20 CR का एक client का, where some portion of the money is invested into equities, let's say 35%, 20% in debt, 10% in commodities, and 35% in real estate. So this investor is highly invested into real estate and other profile also. एस्टिमेटेड रिटर्न्स लास्ट अगर मैं बात करूं, इक्विटीज में 15% बनाया, रियल एस्टेट में द रिटर्न्स आर 6%, कमोडिटीज में 10 एंड डेट में 8. द वेटेड एवरेज रिटर्न इज 9.95. But if I would have shifted that money into a more liquid investment from the real estate to investments like equities, where the return was high, my weighted average return automatically becomes higher at 12.2%. सो कमिंग टू अगेन एसेट एलोकेशन अक्रॉस मार्केट कैप, अगर मैंने 90% पैसा अपना लार्ज कैप में लगा रखा है एक मॉडरेट क्लाइंट ने, और मिड कैप में 10%, आई कुड हैव जनरेटेड इजीली 23% kind of a return for the client in the last 5 years portfolio. Similarly, for a balance, we could have generated 25%, and for aggressive client, 31% would have been a no-brainer in the last 5 year CAGR. So that is how return is generated across various risk profile. And जैसा हमने डिस्कस किया, an aggressive, a moderate client should not try to become aggressive. अगर आपका risk profile moderate है, try not to take an extra risk, because that will always bring anxiety. that will bring volatility into your portfolio. Always know your risk profile. So these are the key strategies you should look at to evaluate any investment portfolio, or you should question this to your wealth manager. If he is able to answer these questions, then he's a good wealth manager. If he's not able to answer these, then I think you should evaluate your wealth manager. हाउ मच इज डेट टू इक्विटी रेशियो इन योर पोर्टफोलियो, आप उसे सीधा पूछिए कितना पैसा डेट में, कितना पैसा मेरा इक्विटी में, मेरे पोर्टफोलियो का लिक्विडिटी कैसा है, कितना परसेंट पैसा मैं आज बटन क्लिक करूं अगले एक हफ्ते में मेरे अकाउंट में आ जाएगा, मेरा फिजिकल एसेट्स और फाइनेंशियल एसेट्स का डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन क्या है, व्हाट इज द रिटर्न आई एम जनरेटिंग ओवर द बेंचमार्क. रिटर्न इज हैप्पी, अगर मेरे को 12% को रिटर्न देता है आई माइट लुक हैप्पी, लेकिन मार्केट 15% रिटर्न दिया तो नोशनली आई हैव मेड 3% का लॉस. सो बेंचमार्क से ऊपर कितना रिटर्न बना के दे रहा है मेरा वेल्थ मैनेजर, वो मुझे उससे पूछना है. व्हाट इज द बीटा ऑफ माय पोर्टफोलियो, कितना वॉलेटाइल है और कितना एडिशनल रिटर्न एज एन अल्फा आप मुझको बना के दे रहे हो. एंड उसको समराइज करने के लिए एक बहुत अच्छा टर्म है जिसे हम कहते हैं आईआरआर और सीएजीआर, कंपाउंडेड एनुअल ग्रोथ रेट. मेरे पोर्टफोलियो का पोस्ट टैक्स सीएजीआर क्या चल रहा है, आफ्टर पेइंग ऑल द टैक्सेस, आफ्टर पेइंग ऑल द एक्सपेंसेस, मेरे हाथ में कितना पैसा आप मेरे को दे रहे हो, क्या आप मुझे कैलकुलेट करके दे सकते हो. अ कॉम्पिटेंट वेल्थ मैनेजर विल बी एबल टू डू दिस. So there are almost 24 lakhs. This number could have been more higher. अभी ये डेटा शायद पुराना हो. Insurance agents, more than 2.75 lakh mutual fund distributor. There are other IRAs 1300 and 1400, but qualified बहुत limited है. There are just 2500 CFPs, 2000 CAWMs and 300 CAFAs in India. So you have to always evaluate how qualified, how competent my wealth manager is. So how do we stand out? We stand out in creating a wealth creation, creating a portfolio with a better risk adjusted and inflation adjusted returns for you. We help you in protecting your wealth by creating wills, by assisting you with the trust formation, a family private trust formation, and more importantly, in the transmission of wealth, so that post your legacy continues and without any hassle, without any disputes, everything is managed in a very efficient manner. So yeah, so our services and support structure, all of our wealth managers are highly qualified. Whoever manages your portfolio will be either a CFP, CWM, or a CFA. Dedicated service managers to take care of your statements, to take care of your updation of your passbooks. I as a product head keep on doing regular interaction with the clients to discuss the portfolio. Unit heads keep on discussing. We have got a very superior technology platform. We were sitting anywhere across the world. आप अपना portfolio at a click of a button explore कर सकते हैं. And then our director, Ms. Charu Pahuja ma'am, and our CEO, Mr. Ajay Kumar Yadav sir, they keep on interacting with the clients, taking on feedbacks, and we keep on re-evaluating and improving ourselves so that we can serve you better. These are our group companies: Wise Investments, Wise Finserv Private Wealth, Wise Insurance Marketing Firm, Wise Funds, Wise Bonds, all led under the leadership of Ajay sir and Charu ma'am. Thank you so much for being a very patient crowd. We'll be opening to the question and answers. Thank you.
Thank you, Ritvik. Thank
I think
you.
because of time limitation, we did not cover that cyber fraud, but I'll take only 30 seconds to cover that. Sir and ma'am, please note that nowadays, there is a lot of technology advancement which is happening. It is not only we as a wealth manager keep on doing a lot of innovation in engineering in terms of generating a better risk-adjusted returns to the clients. Parallel, there are fraudsters, cyber fraudsters. In fact, they also keep on doing a lot of engineering कि हमें client का पैसा कैसे चुराना है. The latest trend which I keep conducting this a special session for 15 to 20 minutes कि आजकल क्या नया चल रहा है. Apart from that regular OTP वाला fraud, Paytm वाला fraud, right? This is something very interesting which we have noticed since last 1.5 years. जैसे ही रिटायरीज के अकाउंट में पैसे आते हैं 50 लाख से लेकर के 5 करोड़ के, उनको कैसे मालूम चलता है, वी डोंट नो. आई एम श्योर दैट देयर इज अ नेटवर्क, प्रोबेबली दे कम टू नो दैट कि इतना पैसा आ गया है. So, since barring the last 6 months, the financial markets have generated a phenomenal returns for the clients, and there is a FOMO among the people who have missed this rally. तो उनको लगता है हमने ये market miss किया है, एंड दीज फ्रॉस्टर्स, साइबर स्कैमर्स आर प्रीटी इंटेलिजेंट एंड स्मार्ट. वो कुछ नहीं बोलते, बोलते कि ठीक है हमारा टेलीग्राम चैनल है, हमारा व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप है, आप यहाँ पे आइए. और उन्हीं के वो मेंबर्स होते हैं और उनकी वहां पे तारीफ करते हैं कि हमको कितना रिटर्न्स इन लोगों ने स्टॉक ट्रेडिंग में जनरेट करके दिया, लेकिन वो उन्हीं के लोग होते हैं. तो अभी क्या हो रहा है कि लोगों को लगता है ठीक है 5 करोड़ रुपए तो मेरे पास आए हैं ना, मैं 1 लाख लेकर के देता हूं इसको, एंड दे विल आस्क यू टू डाउनलोड द ऐप. You will download the app. This virtual app will exactly look like an active app. लेकिन वो एक सिर्फ डमी ऐप होता है, लेकिन चल रहा होगा, वो सब कुछ दिखेगा आपको. वैल्यू दिखेगी कि 1 लाख इन्वेस्ट किया था आज 1.5 लाख हो गया, मैंने 2 लाख इन्वेस्ट किया था 2,60,000 हो गया. लेकिन वो सारी वैल्यू उनकी एंटर्ड की हुई होती है. सो नाउ द मोमेंट यू सो दैट व्हाट ए वंडरफुल प्लेटफॉर्म इट इज यार, मेरा एडवाइजर बोल रहा है यहाँ पे 10% पे खुश रहो, ये मुझे 20 से 25% का रिटर्न बना के दे रहा है. सडनली आपका इंटरेस्ट ज्यादा, यू गेट इंक्लाइंड टुवर्ड्स सच स्ट्रैटेजीज एंड यू वांट टू एलोकेट मोर मनी टू दिस स्ट्रैटेजी और दिस न्यू ट्रेडर. वो आपको लिंक्डइन में दिख रहा है कि हाँ लिंक्डइन में भी ये कंपनी है, उसका ऐप भी अच्छा चल रहा है, आपको वो यूजर आईडी पासवर्ड दे रहा है, उसका मॉनिटर एग्जैक्टली ट्रेडिंग टर्मिनल की तरह दिख रहा है. बट एक्चुअली वो होता नहीं है. और आपको जैसे ही उसने 1 लाख आपने उसको दिया, आपको ये 1.5 लाख क्रेडिट कर देगा 1.5 महीने में. आपको लगेगा वाह व्हाट अ फिनोमिनल रिटर्न. फिर आप 5 लाख देते तो आपको ये 6.5 लाख दे देगा. ये स्ट्रैटेजीज रहती हैं. फिर सडनली वो आपको बोलेगा 50 लाख दीजिए, आप 50 लाख भी देते हैं. देर आर रिटायरीज, आई कांट नेम दोस. आई थिंक हमने क्लाइंट से परमिशन लेकर के जब ये आर्टिकल लिखा था मनी कंट्रोल पे, तो हमने उनको पूछा भी था कि कैन वी कोट योर नेम्स. तो हमने उनको उनका नेम नहीं कोट किया, वो किस इंडस्ट्री से रिलेटेड थे हमने वो कोट किया, बिकॉज बिना क्लाइंट परमिशन हम कुछ नहीं कर सकते. इनफैक्ट क्लाइंट के 2 करोड़ रुपए उन्होंने ले लिए, प्रॉफिट भी दिखा रहे हैं. जब रिडीम करने की बारी आई, द ग्रुप गॉट वैनिश, द टेलीग्राम चैनल गॉट वैनिश, द एप्लीकेशन गॉट वैनिश, सब कुछ खत्म है. ये ट्रेंड बहुत चल रहा है. प्लीज बी अवेयर दैट कि आप इस जैसे ट्रेंड में बिल्कुल नहीं फंसे. ठीक है, इट इज ग्रीड एंड लैक ऑफ फाइनेंशियल लिटरेसी. इनका सक्सेस रेट काफी ज्यादा हो जाता है एंड द रिटायरीज आर लूजिंग नॉट ऑर्डिनरी मनी. वो 2-3 लाख रुपए नहीं लूज कर रहे हैं. आप ये आर्टिकल पढ़िए, ये सब फैक्ट एंड फिगर्स के बेसिस पे मैंने ये दिया है. लोग 2-2 करोड़ 2.5 करोड़ रुपए लूज कर रहे हैं. मैंने ये टचबेस कर लिया है, बट कभी अलग से अगर डॉक्टर साहब ने हमें अपॉर्चुनिटी दी, विल कवर ऑल दीज थिंग्स इन डिटेल. बट अगेन थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर पेशेंस लिसनिंग.
Thank you, Ajay, and thank you, Ritvik. It was a tough topic to handle, and हमारा पर्पस सिर्फ था कि हम अपने सीनियर कोलीग्स को थोड़ी चूटी काटे ऑन 2 इश्यूज. एक, ध्यान रखे ठगे ना जाएं, और दूसरी चूटी काटे कि देयर इज ए सिस्टमैटिक वे ऑफ मेकिंग योर मनी ग्रो विद द हेल्प ऑफ वेल्थ मैनेजर्स. ये जो कॉन्सेप्ट आया, ऋत्विक का जो स्लाइड था, ही शोड so many 25,000 or 2 lakhs of people. ऋत्विक एक बहुत बड़ा चंक भूल गए, वो है नेबरहुड वेल्थ मैनेजर, जो सबसे खतरनाक है. मैंने किया, तू भी कर. So we have this roadside neighborhood wealth managers who are most dangerous. लेकिन प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड कहां कॉन्सेप्ट क्यों आया. व्हाई डिड वी थिंक ऑफ दिस सेशन? I was discussing with somebody around last week, an elderly gentleman. He said, नहीं बाकी और कुछ नहीं, मैं तो फिक्स डिपॉजिट में खुश हूं ना, हमारे टाइम पे वही होता था. That is the barrier. Because yes, Ajay and Ritvik would agree कि 20 साल पहले सिर्फ फिक्स डिपॉजिट ही थे, लोग अलमारियों में पैसे रखते थे. Today you have safe opportunities, but not everybody can do it. Everybody is not Mr. Batra. So everybody cannot do it. So you need help. Like you need a help of a doctor, you need help of a wealth manager today. And unless you do it, you cannot. You will be stagnating your money. So it has become very important, and I thank both of them for their. I will share their details on the WhatsApp group. Now, if anybody wants any questions, please, you're most welcome. Yes, Mr. Markin, please go ahead.
It's a very, very difficult subject to talk about, I'll be very frank. Though it was presented very well, but since we are novice in this field, we couldn't gather much of advantage, take much of advantage. Just two simple things. I am depending on my wealth manager, number one, right, for my investment, because I am not a professional. Suppose, I'm just talking hypothetically, suppose he is not advising me properly. Is there any way I can check it? Is there any way I can
Very
ensure that he is the right person or not? I won't know that. उसने मुझे कहा यहाँ लगा दो वहाँ लगा दो whatever, because I cannot read the statements, I cannot read the results, I cannot read anything. That's not my field. I'm depending on him. So that's point one.
Yes.
Second point is, when we're talking about those cyber frauds, we all know it's happening, and it happens to us unknowingly. Nobody likes to sort of jump into it, but it does happen. So anyway, we can really say, I think, except for being not greedy, I would say that don't get into too much of greed. Is there any other way? Because that's the only way I could think of to avoid these things.
I'll
That
just
is my
I'll just
question was.
add to what Mr. Makin said. He's very right, Ajay and Ritvik. मैं वैसे ही मुझे नॉलेज बहुत कम है, तो मैं कैसे पता लगेगा कि मेरा wealth manager is performing well for me? And I'll add one question. I think Mr. Rajiv Makin, you'll be wanting to know also that, can I change my wealth manager, or is it a lifetime commitment? That is
Sure.
also important.
Sure.
I'll answer this, sir. I'll answer the very first question.
Agree.
Number one, sir. In India, if you look at, if you refer to the slide of Ritvik, where he has highlighted, in India, there are 30 lakh life insurance agents who call themselves financial advisor. There are and the qualification ranges from 12th pass to MBA. So first of all, in India, it's very difficult to figure out the qualification, the competent professionals having the right qualification to be called as financial advisors. Let's say फॉर एग्जाम्पल, मेरे को डॉक्टर में आज अच्छा समझ में आता है कि BAMS कौन है, MBBS कौन है, MBBS MD कौन है, MBBS DM कार्ड कौन है, बट मेरे को फाइनेंशियल एडवाइजर में ये समझ में नहीं आता है कि
Absolutely.
MBA फाइनेंस इज अ फाइनेंशियल एडवाइजर, और MBA फाइनेंस CFP इज अ फाइनेंशियल एडवाइजर, और MBA फाइनेंस CFP चार्टर्ड वेल्थ मैनेजर इज अ फाइनेंशियल एडवाइजर, और चार्टर्ड फाइनेंशियल एडवाइजर और CA इज अ फाइनेंशियल एडवाइजर.
Beautiful.
राइट. सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल टू फिगर आउट, नंबर वन, कि वो क्वालिफिकेशन क्या है. सबसे पहले तो क्वालिफिकेशन क्या है. अगर वो CFP है, इट इज वन ऑफ द हाईएस्ट. CFP, CWM, CFA, these are the highest qualification to practice financial planning across globe. It is not limited to India, across globe. So ये तीन टॉप क्वालिफिकेशंस होते हैं आपको एक अच्छा फाइनेंशियल प्लानिंग प्रैक्टिस करने के लिए. राइट. सेकंड, आप ये देखिए कि उसको कम से कम 5-6 साल का एक्सपीरियंस होना चाहिए, बिकॉज इन हियर इन वाइस विज ऑल्सो वी हायर लॉट ऑफ MBAs, बट इनिशियली वी ट्रेन देम फॉर 1 year. आफ्टर दे गोइंग थ्रू द सब्जेक्ट MBA, हम उनको 1 साल तक पढ़ाते फाइनेंशियल मार्केट के बारे में, 3 साल तक तो उनकी ट्रेनिंग चलती है. 5 साल के बाद वो एडवाइस करना स्टार्ट करते हैं क्लाइंट्स को, वो भी रिटेल क्लाइंट, छोटे क्लाइंट्स को पहले, एंड अंडर लीडरशिप ऑफ द एक्सपीरियंस्ड प्लेयर. नाउ इमेजिन, ऋत्विक, कैन यू ओपन दैट स्लाइड जहां हम बोलते हैं आपका एडवाइजर ये नहीं कर पाता है, तो देयर इज अ चैलेंज विथ योर एडवाइजर. सो अपार्ट फ्रॉम हैविंग क्वालिफिकेशंस एज अ CFP, CWM, CFA, because he'll be able to analyze facts, figures, and the data, not to calculate weighted average return, XIRR, IRR, having a detailed understanding of the financial asset class, because it is a hard-earned money. If he's not able to analyze, correlate, if he's not able to figure out कि risk कितना है, beta कितना है, then there is a challenge. He's just recommending one of the products which everybody is talking about. So अगर वो ये सारी चीजें, ऋत्विक को स्लाइड खोल लीजिएगा जहां आप IRR, बीटा जरा खोल रहे थे, आपको अपने एडवाइजर से ये मांगना है. आप इस स्लाइड का फोटोग्राफ भी रख सकते हैं, हमारा नाम वहां से हटा दीजिए और वो फोटोग्राफ मांगिए कि मेरे फिजिकल एसेट्स का रिटर्न्स कितने हैं, मेरे फाइनेंशियल एसेट्स के कितने हैं, मैंने टैक्सेस कितना पे किया पूरे साल में, पोस्ट टैक्सेस कितने हटा, सालाना, कैलेंडर ईयर और फाइनेंशियल ईयर रिटर्न्स कितना बन रहे हर 5 साल में. एंड इट शुड इंक्लूड ऑल योर फिक्स्ड डिपॉजिट, ऑल लाइफ इंश्योरेंस, ऑल फिजिकल एसेट्स, ऑल फाइनेंशियल एसेट्स. और उसको पूछिए कि मेरे पोर्टफोलियो का बीटा कितना है, मैं अल्फा कितना अगर ये आंसर कर पा रहा है, अगर वो मैथ समझता है, एक्सेल समझता है, और उसके पास क्वालिफिकेशन है, ये ऐसी क्वालिफिकेशंस, तो वो अच्छा करेगा. देखिए, प्लस एंड माइनस 2% का मेरे से ऊपर भी हो सकते हैं, मेरे से नीचे भी हो सकते हैं, लेकिन द बेस्ट थिंग इज दैट कि उसको ये मैथ्स आनी चाहिए, ये साइंस आनी चाहिए कि अक्रॉस सिनेरियो मेरे क्लाइंट्स के पोर्टफोलियो को रीबैलेंस और रीस्ट्रक्चर में कैसे करूं ताकि कम खर्चा भी लगे और कम रिस्क भी रहे. तो ये चीजें अगर कर पाता है तो यू आर इन द सेफ हैंड्स. If he struggle to answer all these things, then he is one such advisor like a life insurance agent. ये प्रोडक्ट खरीद लीजिए, इसमें ये रिटर्न आ जाएगा. ठीक है. He should be able to advise. आप कनाडा में हो, यूएस में हो, पीएफआईसी इन्वेस्टमेंट्स क्या होती हैं, पैसिव फॉरेन इन्वेस्टमेंट कंपनी क्या है, यूएस में टैक्सेस क्या हैं, कनाडा में टैक्सेस क्या हैं, तो ये चीजें अगर वो गाइड कर पाता, देन ही इज वन ऑफ द कॉम्पिटेंट वेल्थ मैनेजर यू हैव. Because on every rupee of yours which is there in the portfolio should generate some return for you. So ये सारी चीजें करने के लिए अगर कोई कर पाता तो आपका कैपिटल वेल्थ मैनेजर है सर.
Sir, one more point. Most of us being retirees and having small amount which has been invested as such, dependent on that and multiplication of that, we are normally guided by the relationship managers appointed by the banks. Do you think they are the right kind of people to take advice from? Because we have actually no other source of information which can help us. What you're talking is, of course, for the bigger companies or bigger portfolio is fine. But for a smaller portfolio, few people, banking is the main source. And that's where the mutual fund comes in. Sir, ICICI mutual fund also, ye fund mein dal do, is fund dal do, those kind of things. So that is, are they the right people? First of all, the relationship managers appointed by the bank.
Sir, I'll tell you one thing.
Yeah.
I'm not against any relationship manager of the banks, but ideally, they are under huge pressure. Now, imagine we as a wealth manager, we are totally focused managing only portfolio. We have nothing लेना देना कि मुझे क्रेडिट कार्ड भी सेल करना है, मुझे एफडी भी सेल करनी है, मुझे होम लोन भी सेल करना है.
Sorry to interrupt, Ajay. Makin, you see the guy who appointed from the bank has a conflict of interest because he's got to sell his bank.
That was my point. That was my point.
So he cannot be uniform. He cannot be uniform.
Yes.
Mr. Batra, please go ahead.
Yeah.
We need to conclude.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, please go ahead.
Can I answer this? Can I answer this?
Okay. You answer.
केजरीवाल ने बिल्कुल परफेक्ट आंसर दिया है. एंड इसके अलावा सर, when a wealth manager, a company like us, and many company like us, sir, who focuses only on wealth management, means they have nothing लेना देना with the credit card sale, home sales, car loan sales. तो उनको टाइम नहीं मिलता है कि to look at what is happening globally. So global macro factors, macro economic कैसे कर रहे हैं, macro fundamentals क्या हैं, client के portfolio को कैसे देखना है, versus someone, a company like us, बहुत सारी कंपनी हमारी तरह है, वो टोटली फोकस करते हैं वेल्थ मैनेजमेंट. सो देयर इज अ फोकस्ड अप्रोच मैनेजिंग मनी, राइट. इसीलिए, और एक और चीज सर, सिंस डॉक्टर ग्रेवाल हैज आस्क्ड टू कंडक्ट अ फाइनेंशियल लिटरेसी प्रोग्राम स्पेशली ऑन दिस फोरम, यू डोंट वरी अबाउट दैट. सर, आई हैव शेयर्ड द नंबर ऑफ कपिल ओवर हियर. आपको छोटा पोर्टफोलियो से भी पूछना है ना, बिकॉज वी आर एसोसिएटेड विद डॉक्टर ग्रेवाल एंड ही वांटेड अस टू रन अ फाइनेंशियल लिटरेसी प्रोग्राम irrespective of the size of your portfolio. You raise a question. I request, in case Kapil can make a group, you ask question for rupees 1 lakh also. Now we'll answer that, sir.
Thank
Good. Thank you.
Sorry about that, sir.
Yeah,
Thanks.
Okay.
So can I
Yeah,
ask
sir.
a small question?
Mr. Batra. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Batra.
Sir,
Yeah,
sir,
I
how the
he's not
financial
stopping.
just one moment. How do
Can
the
you
financial charges, financial planner charge to maintain your portfolio?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
What is their system?
Yes, sir, I'll tell you, sir. So there are multiple ways a client can, if a company is a SEBI registered investment advisor, they raise an invoice and charge a bill to you, right? So let's say he's managing a 5 crore ka portfolio, he will charge a 1% of fees, and which he may raise on a quarterly basis. That is 1% divided by 4 on the AUM which is managing as per the prescribed guidelines of the SEBI, or if he decide to charge less. Now, second, there is a mutual fund advisors, so-called private wealth companies, and when they advise on your portfolio, when they recommend to deploy your money in these asset classes, they get a share of fee directly from the respective asset management company, respective mutual fund company, respective bond company. So let's say, for example, हमने डॉक्टर ग्रेवाल के पोर्टफोलियो में एक स्टेट गवर्नमेंट बॉन्ड एलोकेट किया. So there are people who are apprehensive about allocating such product because the commission is 25 paisa, so 0.25%. There are mutual fund where the commission ranges from 0.1% to 1%. So this is how the credit has been given by the respective asset management company to the mutual fund distributor or the private wealth management companies. So there are two ways. One, a registered investment advisor can decide what fee to be charged on your portfolio. If he is not a registered investment advisor with SEBI, as per the prescribed guidelines of MFI, the automatic fee which is being decided by the respective asset management company, the money will be credited to the respective mutual fund distributor or the wealth manager, sir. This is how a wealth manager is being given credit for the fee. यहाँ पे दो
Well,
चीजें
sir, can I ask some question, sir?
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Batra, please.
Yeah. See, I've got a question on index funds and the cost of service.
Yes,
Let
sir.
me explain what.
Yes.
Now, you explained that various index funds have got certain ranges. If you just invest money in Nifty 150, Nifty 100, Nifty 50 and all that, and you can sleep over that, it will give you that kind of return. But the
Right.
question is, my appetite is more that why I am getting 10 to 12, I must get 15. So I hire you for doing that. Now, the question is, I do not know how you predict the market. How do you advise me? Suppose the market doesn't give me, in spite of your advice, are you willing to give me a guarantee and return my fees and all that? What is your term? What guarantee you take?
All right, sir. I'll answer this question of yours. Number one,
Yes.
as per regulator, as per capital market regulator, there are no product, especially the capital market products, which can guarantee the return, sir. If someone is quoting this language of guaranteeing a return, which is not right.
No, mind my words. I am not saying guarantee of the return. I am saying that you have to perform at least more than the index fund,
Yes, sir.
whatever market perform.
Yes.
If you are not doing that, your service is of no use.
Yes, sir.
That's how do I get
Yes.
that kind of guarantee?
All right, sir. I'll answer this question of yours.
Yeah.
So Ritvik have shown a slide where he talked about, in case if you have a less understanding about the capital market investments, which are there in India or across globe, and you don't know how to play with the stocks or what kind of a stock to pick up, you simply invest into the index funds and forget.
Yes.
And
That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing.
You remain invested. Now look at, because India is one such country which is growing at a pretty decent speed, and where we expect to generate a much better and a higher alpha. So let's look at the science of remaining invested only into the index fund, and let's look at why one should be part of the active, one should have active mutual funds or active equity funds in your portfolio. So the cost of remaining invested in an index fund is just 10 paisa.
Yeah,
Forget about
nothing.
pick up
No
an
cost.
index fund, right?
Yes.
Just remain invested. Highly liquid, by click of a button, the money can be very
Yes.
much there in your account. The low cost. Now, parallel, if someone has to analyze Nifty 50, last 20 years, segregate into five years, make a four part of 5 each year, and every year you'll see that it is only 10% of the stocks which decide the returns of the Nifty 50. It is
Yes.
only the 10 to 15% of the stocks
Yes,
which
yes.
helps rallying Nifty 50. But which are
Yeah.
those 10-15 stocks?
Yeah.
Here comes the active fund manager. The
Yes.
Ritvik also mentioned that which industry this financial year can perform, which different cap this financial year can perform, which asset this financial year can perform. The wealth manager assess all the thousands of the asset classes which are available not only in India, but across the globe, to figure out if India there are no juices left out, how I can generate capitalizing on the other asset classes available outside the India.
I think Ajay, I'll
I
just
think
interrupt
trouble
you.
is you
No,
just
just a minute,
make
just a
me
minute. Batraji,
make
ek
me
minute.
earn 2% more and
Yes, sir.
2% I pay to you.
Yes.
There is no fun in this activeness.
So
No,
I am
no.
not, sir, actually, if you look
No,
at the
because-
math, I am not, if you look at the math, at any given point of time, the kind of expertise we have, the kind of science and
No, I think
SRT model which I talk about, we
please
always will be able to generate 200 to 300 basis point additional
No,
return.
but Ajay ji, Batra ji, please understand one thing. Every service, whether it is hotel industry, tourism industry, or wealth management industry, every service responds to the average. It does not respond to the few. It does not respond to the super few, and it does not respond to the restricted, demanding population. The average population,
This is what they promise.
no, they
They
don't.
are promising.
No. See, let's not get into a controversy. We are not here to debate whether you should have a wealth manager or not. That's a choice. That's a choice. If I have taken a wealth manager, I've taken it by choice. I have made my own assessments. We are having a discussion with the wealth managers whom are available as to how the market runs. They are not selling themselves. That
Yes.
is a choice which will be left to yourself. Whether I feel what you just said, that I earn 2% and I pay 2% to you, then that's a choice you got to make, because to earn that 2%, if you can earn it on your own, so be it. What Ajay is saying, that to earn that 2% extra, the effort that has to go in through by looking into all the portfolios, if one is able to do it on their own, you don't need, it's like somebody saying, I have diabetes and I treat myself, I don't need a doctor, so be it. He only has to take the help of an expert when there is a clear understanding in his own mind that I need an expert. So whatever expert services are needed, they have to be compensated. I'm not selling either of them. But the concept is that today wealth managers are helping the average person to enhance his growth safely. Satta to har jagah lag sakta hai. So anyway, I mean, I think we are well into our time. So
Sir,
first and
actually,
foremost,
we are
Yes.
very clear about the concept.
Ji,
That was the idea.
that's right.
I am very clear about the concept of financial planning.
That's right.
Then I must go to right shop is next question.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Right.
That's right. That's right. If I know what I need to buy for myself, I need to buy an ophthalmoscope,
Correct.
then I must know where to get it.
Good, good.
And that ophthalmoscope variety aati hai. Which variety I will use for myself. An ophthalmoscope I just wanted to share because I just bought one, ranges from 5,000 to 65,000. But remember, Mr. Batra, from my patient,